There's a new opper on the block and his name is Molodoy. Now, a lot of people have been paying attention to him ever since he popped off and the Major and at Cologne, but he just recently won this Fisher Playground event with Furia, which is actually the first tier 1 event that Furia has ever won, and Molodoy got the MVP for it. So I want to take a look at why this team is working, especially with Fallen not opping and only IGLing so that Molodoy can have his role. And then after that, I want to take a deeper dive and look at how Molodoy actually gets away with it in the server and why he's so scary to play against, but we'll get to that right after a quick word from SkinsMonkey. If you're not familiar with SkinsMonkey, this is a trade site that allows you to take some of the old and crusty skins out of your inventory and you can actually trade them in for something a little bit new, a little bit shinier than what you have right now. And it's really easy to do this actually. All you need to do is log in through Steam, pick the skins that you don't want to use anymore, grab the ones that you do, and then click trade. All trades will pretty much happen immediately, and any balance that you don't use in your trade actually stays on the site for you to use for any future trades that you decide to do. And right now, if you use the link in the description, you can actually get a 35% deposit bonus, and that's good for up to $100. So let's say you deposit $100, you would actually get $135 on the site if you use my link. So make sure you check out SkinsMonkey, and let's hop right back into the video. We're going to be looking at this best of 5 that Furia just played versus the Mongols, and you're going to notice a very common theme when it comes to Molodoy, and it's that he is so aggressive. But it doesn't mean it's his only gimmick. He can also play very positionally if he needs to. But the thing that makes him very scary is when you combine him with the likes of Ykinder, who is known as one of the more aggressive riflers that we've ever seen in Counter-Strike history. It does make for an interesting duo, but there is one other thing that makes Molodoy scary on his own, and it's the fact that you really can't hide from him. I don't know if you noticed that, but last round he also broke the smoking connector to go for a fight, and here at the beginning of the round, in the final round of this map, he goes for a connector break here, and he hits a crazy flick onto Techno. But it gets worse than that, because after he gets this kill, he calls for his teammate to actually throw a secondary nade, that being Ykinder, and he's going to re-break the connector smoke and catch Senzu trying to come in. And again, if you think it can't get any worse than that, Mizzino's actually smoked off in Palace, and he's in a 1v5. He's going to go for his own smoke break, and Molodoy is going to peek and catch him, making 3 kills through the smoke breaks in one single round. You actually cannot hide from him. Now, if you've watched a lot of demo reviews on my channel, you might think that you're just in for another run-of-the-mill opera demo review talking about positioning and how smart they are and how sharp they are, but this is actually not the case, because one thing I really like about Molodoy is that he's not afraid to just pick up an AK and also go for the same opening duels. For example, in this round, after Ykinder has already gone down, Molodoy takes it upon himself to go for the entry, and he knows that the opera is here because they just had an exchange with him, and so what he's going to do is he's just going to go for this nice little pre-aim onto 910, and he destroys him. That is sickening, but look at it from his POV. Oh man. But then after he gets that kill, he just immediately switches over to CT and hits another crazy shot, and that's actually going to win Furia this round. And I think that brings us to a bigger talking point when it comes to Molodoy and Furia in general, which is the fact that they don't need to give him the op for him to have a crazy level of impact. Take for example this round, where we have a force buy with not a lot of utility. What Fallen decides to call here is he smokes off Arch, and they're just going to contact out in towards bracket here. It looks like a standard take, nothing out of the ordinary, but it's actually not that, and instead it's going to be an A pop where Fallen is going to lead the way here. That's when we have the duo of Ykinder and Molodoy coming out of apartments. Ykinder is going to jump out, and then Molodoy is going to come out with the Galil, and he's going to get 2 amazing kills, and they're just in a 4-on-2. And again, that adds a layer to Furia that they didn't really have before when they just had Fallen on the op. Of course, he did have some crazy rounds, pop-off rounds when he just had the AK, but this is something that makes Furia so scary to play against. It's just the fact that they can go for these contact-heavy strats, and they have the individuals that can win the round. I want to be clear, I'm not saying that with this Furia roster, it's just Molodoy and Ykinder and Queserado hard carrying them, because Fallen is actually a really good IGL. Take for example this round, which is one of the best Inferno rounds I've seen in CS2. It's just a default, but Fallen is actually holding a flash here in case they hear them going down mid. That would be a good flash for Ykinder to peek. Of course, Ykinder doesn't hear anything, so he's going to jump up into halls. But while he's jumping up into halls, Fallen's actually going to throw this flash so that Ykinder can clear boiler. Now, this is actually just the first part of the strat. They want to make it look like a default. And after Ykinder spots the op in towards Arch, Fallen's going to throw an Arch smoke, and then he's going to line up a porch molly. Now, this porch molly is actually really cool, and I haven't seen a lot of teams throwing this. And that's actually something that Vu mentioned to me a while back, which is that Furia are actually ahead of the game when it comes to meta-defining utility. And you see that molly is actually going to land under porch. I'm glitched, so I'll show you in a second. But Molodoy is going to throw these 2 flashes from the top of Mexi at the same time. And as you can see, what we've put together is a really good bracket take where we have the molly as well as the smoke. And once they get this map control, this is some classic Inferno theory. You don't have to do anything because, of course, the CTs have no information on what's happening banana. Yes, it's smoked up, but that doesn't matter because you either have to push and take banana, retake bracket, which is, by the way, where Furia are holding right now. Molodoy is just holding for them to re-aggress from short. Yuri is going to be holding for them to try to come through arch. Or you have to gamble a fourth player and pray that they don't go B onto Techno, which is what the Mongols decide to do. This is why I love CS so much. It's because you can have a default that has a lot of layers like that, but then your exit can be just as simple as this. What they're doing here is they're just going to throw a flash over so that they can go up lane. They have a pit molly and a moto smoke, and you have Molodoy is just going to be holding lines, and Yakinder is going to be trying to trade off of everybody. Now, the exit doesn't actually go that well as the fights end up favoring the Mongols, but it does end up leaving Yakinder and Molodoy in this 2-on-3 that they're going to go on to win. And again, it's just because Molodoy is holding this aggressive line. It's going to get the first kill on the blitz. After that, Yakinder is going to peek and get the trade onto 9-10. And while they're looking for the last guy, they're just going to be repositioning, making sure that if one of them dies, the other one has a chance to trade. And once Yakinder does go down to Techno, Molodoy is going to step out and hit a nice little quick scope onto him. And I think that that's what makes Furia such a hard team to play against. It's because they're so tactically sound, but even if it doesn't work out, they still have the mechanics to bail them out really consistently if they need to. So now that we've established that Molodoy is a very good rifler and can probably be a star rifler on a team if he really wanted to, let's talk about the opping that makes him so good and the thing that's really been catching a lot of people's attention. Now, we've already talked about one impressive round in this game, but here's another one that I found on Overpass where Molodoy is going to come up here and he's going to flash Yakinder into bathrooms. Now, Yakinder is going to clear long bathrooms and then he's going to back up and he's going to throw this flash towards long. You think that that might just be a waste, but it's actually not, because if you look at the setup that 9-10 and Techno are in, Techno actually is forced to respect the fact that they could be long, and he's going to pull back to check it now, leaving 9-10 by himself. Now, while Techno is going to check long, I want you to pay attention at where 9-10 is opping, because this is a very common spot for oppers to stand. But what isn't common is the boost that Fallen is setting up for Molodoy. As you can see here, he's going to line up on the stairs, and then Molodoy is going to jump up on his head and then get this nice pick onto 9-10. But remember, because Techno was over here checking towards long, he's actually not in a very good position, so when he tries to get back to where he was before, Fallen's actually going to catch him out in the open. Now, I will say I don't expect Blitz to be side if I'm Fallen either, but it doesn't matter because Molodoy is going to step out and immediately trade him, securing the round. Mongols have to save, but this is another exciting round from Furia. It's just so tactically good. Like, it's, oh my god, it's so good. Now, I know this video has been more focused on Furia as a team, but you have to understand that that is actually why Molodoy is so good. It's because of the people around him. Sure, he could bail them out every now and then when the strats don't work, but the strats are actually allowing him to get openings that he wouldn't be able to get on his own. So they actually work really well hand in hand. Again, look at this round where they go for this strat where he just has a scout, but he's going to hit both the shots that he needs to, and then after that he can actually upgrade over to the op, and he's going to hit another crazy shot, which this round could have still gotten out of hand if he goes down there. And once he plants the bomb, it's really nothing that Mizinho can do except for also fall to him. But that's what I mean when I talk about superstar players, is it's not only just them hard carrying, because they can raise the ceiling if they have a pop-off game, but in general they are also raising the floor as well. Now, I wanted to look at this round because it's a very aggressive round. Again, we talked about the aggression he goes for. I really think that that shot should have hit, but look at this play that Mongols go for. They actually flash to disrupt the default that Furia is going for, but once Molodoy gets his vision back, he hits a crazy shot onto Techno and the follow-up onto Senzu, and the round is over off the back of those kills. He punishes them for not killing him, and he does it one more time here on round number 17. They're going for this B pop. Molodoy again breaking the smoke. You can't hide from him. He's going to step in front and he hits that shot. I just can't believe he gets away with that. Afterwards, he's going to make sure that there's no lurkers or anything, and he's going to set up this retake utility for his teammates. Again, they're just going to wait for the tap. Once they hear it, they're going in. Look at those flashes. You can steal those for your own game. They're actually going to end up in probably the weirdest 2v2 I've ever seen. Yakinder is outside the window. He steps out, gets the kill onto 9-10, but then after Mizinho gets the kill, Molodoy closes it with another flick shot. That's actually going to bring us to championship point, the final round of the tournament, but I want to just really hammer home this talking point when it comes to Molodoy and Yakinder both. Molodoy is going to step out to block the smoke before going lower, and at the same time, Yakinder is going to peek behind this molly. Again, on championship point, he makes it hurt. He gets a nice 2k, and that's pretty much going to secure it. And even after that, by the way, Molodoy gets in the smoke. He's really toying with the idea of going through it. He doesn't end up doing it, but still, this kid is relentless, and I think that there's big things in the future for this Furia team. I personally am really excited to watch them play their next event, but if you guys did enjoy this demo review, you guys make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can do more of these in the future, and let me know if you like this one. I couldn't really find one single map where we could go over everything like we used to in the old demo reviews, but I thought that combining the entire best of 5 was a happy medium. I'm pretty happy with how it ended up working out, but again, you can feel free to leave all of your criticisms, or if you liked it, tell me if you liked it as well. I'm also okay with that. I mean, even in this last round, of course it would be Fallen to close it out. Who else but Fallen? It just makes sense. And there you go. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys very, very soon. And much love as always.